Thank you for tuning in to No Flag Radio. I'm your host, Pig. Getting on this shit. So today we talking about the murder of our brother, Botham Jean. Came from a prominent family in St. Lucia. One of his parents was the secretary of St. Lucia. Came out to Dallas, where he's been living. Stayed in a place called Southside Flats. Real ritzy-ditzy, richy-rich apartments in Dallas. Got around a bunch of white chicks and thought the shit was cool, thought it was sweet, thought that was how life's supposed to go, being a black man in white supremacist terrorist society. In his naivete or either his ignorance to the fact that this is the life that we dealing with, he got close to one of them where he lived at in these apartments. One day she went to his apartment, tried to get into his apartment using the key that he gave her, I'm assuming. It didn't work because he turned the key off. They probably stopped fucking with each other because he was probably fucking her. She got mad and killed him. That's what the fuck happened. I just saved the Dallas police 9 months investigating. 9 months making up lies about this shit, day after day after day, piling up lies until your stinking ass stinking hearts. So, the lie she's selling is that she happened to think that was her apartment, happened to think that was her floor of her apartment, happened to think that was her door of the damn apartment, happened to think that he was intruding in her apartment when she saw him, an apartment that she can't get into. Some man she claims she does not know, though I got the pictures off of Twitter, you see the thumbnail, him smiling with some white chicks and she's supposed to be the one on the left, right? Also got another tweet claiming that she was yelling, talking about open the goddamn door, open the goddamn door. And that the lock was actually off the hinges when them people showed up. One thing that allows me to think that he probably knew her. So I think she forced her way in. This is breaking and entering and killing. What happened? She shoots him, kills him. All right? That's what happened to this man. So, you know, a lot of different stories, a lot of different emotions are flying around it. You know, when I first heard it, I was like, she fucking him. She got mad that he don't want to fuck with her no more. Or either he wasn't fucking her and he was just being friendly with her or trying to chit-chat her up, which I say is a crime. Don't talk to white people, period. Don't talk to white supremacist terrorists in the public. Don't do that. It's a habit that will serve black people well globally. It works. When you don't talk to them, it really does keep down the bullshit. Even if they talk to you, don't talk to them. Right? I'm not trying to shame my brother. I'm just speaking from my vantage. And what happened is she got rebuffed from being in his face. She didn't like that. So she dug into her trick bag of white supremacist terrorist allowances that they allow white supremacist terrorist females to do and said, I'm going to lie and make up a reason to kill him. How dare I be rebuffed by a black man with all of his family status, with all of his good job having, with all of his ministry. He's a good man all the fucking round. And I'm white. I can't be rebuffed by a black man who is a good man all the way to fuck around. Because that goes against the white supremacist terrorist narrative I've been taught since I was a little child, that I am to never be rebuffed by a black man. So she went psychotic, made up a reason to be around his door, and then she killed him, shot him. I don't know where she shot him, but she shot him. So, I was talking to one of my little sisters, man, little young sisters out here, man, where I'm at. I ain't gonna tell y'all where I'm at, but she from Zimbabwe. Real pretty little thing, cute little thing, just a bundle of joy, you understand? I'm just trying to hip her to the game, you know what I'm saying, how shit go out here. She take a liking to me, I've taken a liking to her, yeah? And I was just telling her, you know, right about this time, the sisters in America, they start having that I told you so party, because I think this dude was cooning. This is a moment for you sisters to have that I told you so party, is what I was telling her. And she was like, oh no, it shouldn't be an I told you so thing, right? But she give me that look like, nigga, if you give me permission to be like this with you and agree that this is a I told you so moment with you, nigga, I will love you for life, nigga. We done told our brothers and sisters who these people are, what their lineage is, who they come in the name of when they around us. So in 2018, now we should have room for nothing else but the I told you so parties. And she was like, well, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, yeah. Cause look, we would do the same thing if a white supremacist terrorist male did it to y'all. So I need y'all to get y'all celebration on too, sisters. Get y'all nut off. That's what I told her. I'm like, I need y'all to get y'all nut off for real. Cause that's what it's about. Motherfuckers gotta get shamed into not being coons. So participate in it, girl. Get down with it, girl. Is what I'm trying to convince her to kind of move like. Since she around me, I'ma rub off on her. You understand? I'm an Aries, so motherfucker, I told your dumb ass so. And I am that type of motherfucker. I feel the joy. I breathe very deeply when I win. I told you so is winning, right? So, Botham Jean has passed on. And if he didn't believe in white supremacy when he was alive, he gonna believe it now, because this white supremacist terrorist female who killed him, the police are hiding her. Specifically the Dallas police, which gives me all the more reason to do my militia review on the 3%ers, the Oath Keepers, any of them little groups out here in the Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth, surrounding areas, because look at the shit they do, right? And what happened is last night they got a black coon dude, some sergeant, somebody, to talk up on the news about the situation, and he's automatically caping for the white supremacist terrorist female. He's going with her narrative of she thought Botham Jean was an intruder, adding that cloud of Negro criminality to his presence, even though he was, by all standards and marks, an upstanding guy, right? They gonna kick dirt on your grave, Botham Jean, if you listening to me from your grave, man. That's what they gonna do to you, bruh. Huh? And he also was the first person I heard say that she worked a full shift. He made sure to say she worked a full shift. Wanna make it seem like there's this tiredness to being a cop that the average person wouldn't understand. We're gonna add in tiredness as a reason to why she doesn't know what floor she lives on in an apartment building, right? Doesn't know her own door in an apartment building. And understand, they're gonna have to prove that she lives on that floor, that she lives that far down the hall and all that shit. They're gonna have to prove all of this shit if they're gonna stand behind her lie, as they're doing right now. Dallas Police Department, which I already hit up in the Twitter, assailing their ass because they fucking up, right? Then about 4 hours ago, they got this police chief, Renee Hall, to talk about it. A black woman, to do the little press conference shit they do, right? And she's caping for the, she was tired. She didn't bat that question down when the reporter said, well, was she tired? Which it shouldn't even be a question about how tired she was. It's a non-issue. She killed someone in a place she didn't live at. There's plenty of people that kill people when they're groggy, all right? You kill someone where you didn't live at. White supremacist terrorist police officer. So the Renee Hall character keeps playing up the narrative he's an intruder and that the officer was tired. That's gonna get the white supremacist terrorist of the world. Well, she thought he was an intruder, so... Trying to add a cloud and a contour of criminality to this man. Even in death, they're adding criminality as a nuance to his persona. Police officers like Renee Hall give white supremacist terrorists blanket license to peacock strut their allowances of white supremacist society. And one of those allowances of white supremacist terrorist society is to lie and to make up complete fabricated bullshit in order to commit crimes and harm black people. Adding a narrative of criminality to a black man at will, be him dead or alive. They have immunity from knowing where they are. They can imagine someone is an intruder. They use their white supremacist terrorist imagination and then run with it and then do fucked up shit around it. I've told y'all this on many a video. And back to this chief of police in Dallas, at the press conference, they trying to throw questions at her a million miles an hour, and she just, we don't know enough playing these games. But she started off talking about, we're gonna be transparent, and we will be transparent. And we're gonna call in the Texas Rangers to handle this whole investigation. Playing that bullshit. We're gonna call other police to police and oversee our fuck up of an officer. This unnamed white supremacist terrorist cop, right? Texas Rangers are for transparency. We need them for our whole entire department to be transparent. We need to be policed because we will lie. Let's act like the jurisdiction of this case must be released from us in order to be handled righteously because we know we're scum. Is what she's basically saying. The undertone to what she's speaking. Y'all hear the psychology they working with the Dallas chief, Renee Hall, a black lady. So they're trying to pawn it off on the Texas Rangers to carry out some independent investigation, and we all know that that's a circuitous route that leads to trying to soft pad the actions of the officer. For them to even send it to a Texas Ranger, it shows they've already started the white supremacist bullshit reel. Playing the public as if we're dumb. They've already started it. As if the public doesn't know that the police can serve a warrant, investigate their own officers. And I want you to get a little more insight into what she said at the conference. She was like, okay, so we blood tested her already. We blood tested her already, right? We talked to her. We didn't question her, but we talked to her. Again, having all these very congenial interactions with her after the event happened is what they claim. Blood tested her and they talked to her, right? And they're putting out a warrant for manslaughter. Y'all hear that? That in itself is retarded and a sign of a cover-up, y'all. Y'all gotta see this shit. That in itself is retarded and a sign of a cover-up. You know what I'm saying? I guess the reporters that was asking her the questions didn't catch that shit, but your boy P did. How's it that you blood tested her after the event to check for alcohol and all this other shit, but you don't know where she is? And it's been less than 24 hours? Y'all let her skip the whole state, jump the state, and leave town that quick? When the shit just happened 10 o'clock yesterday? It's less than 24 hours and y'all letting her leave already? Y'all already bullshitting Dallas police, and they're already covering up for this girl, okay? For this white supremacist terrorist who needs to be killed just how she killed that man for no reason. We're gonna stop talking this jail shit. Fuck that. A life for a life, a body for a body. You kill somebody from their family need to kill you. Don't even let the state do it. Let somebody from their family who bout that shit, who won't have it on their soul, to do it. God damn it. But that's not either here or there right now. Now, I want y'all to listen to a news report that'll prove to you all, if you don't have enough proof already, that white supremacist code is still in full effect on this one. I want you all to listen to the news report from our station here in the Metroplex, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and the surrounding areas, and peep the story of the white neighbor. We're gonna do a little contrast. We're gonna contrast the white neighbor, and then we're gonna contrast a black neighbor. And hear the current that the white supremacists in the neighborhood who lived around Botham Jean have to say about this. This is the white supremacist terrorist neighbor, Alyssa Paredes.
Right now we have Alyssa, who is the neighbor of Mr. Jean. And so just tell me about what you heard this morning.
Well, it was actually last night around 10 p.m. I heard a single gunshot, and then it sounded like commotion, running, yelling. So I jumped up, went to the door, looked out, didn't see anything, but I could hear a female calling 911 at that point. And then in about a minute, the hallway was swarming with officers.
I'm sure a lot was going through your mind, but talk about Mr. Jean. You knew him for about 6 months already. Talk to me about who he was and what you remember.
Well, I knew him as Bo. He was my next door neighbor. He introduced himself to me the first day I moved in. We had a beer on the patio and just chatted about work and living in Dallas. He had a huge smile, that lit up a room. Always friendly, always helpful. You know, this is a senseless tragedy, and I'm devastated for his family.
And hopefully we will be finding out more. Thank you, Alyssa, very much. All right, back to you, Dan.
All right, y'all heard that? You heard how she said gunshot, commotion, running, yelling. Then I could hear a female calling 911 at that point. And the cops came in about 1 minute. Y'all hear that shit? I want y'all to remember that. That's her narrative of the breaking and entering and killing that was carried out by a white supremacist terrorist female. And you see how fondly she talks about him? Oh, that's my neighbor. We knew him as Bo. And this brother, you know, rest the dead, but he made a point of running up to his white neighbors, chit-chatting, talking, having a beer on the patio. First day he moved in, chatting, friendly, helpful. You see all these words she's using? Again, which goes back to my first point, and I've brought it up in other videos before. I don't talk to white people. I don't talk to white supremacist terrorists. I don't open my mouth to the dominant society. It's an act of war when you don't communicate with them because they can't get any vibe off of you. It's an act of war. I need to do a P code on don't talk to white supremacist terrorists in the public. Don't talk to any member of the dominant society in public, if you can help it. Casually, don't make casual conversation something you do with them, because look at what she's doing to this man in depth. Her story, I don't believe, I'll tell you that. And I'll tell you why I don't believe it. There's a young lady by the name of Bunny Babs, who also lives in the same apartment where this guy lived at, which is in Dallas, like south of downtown. It's a real fancy looking resort looking ass apartment. They got a big ass pool. It looked like a motherfucking hotel resort, straight up. Now, if I can play her videos off Instagram, I want y'all to look at her quick videos. But what she said is what she saw, and I believe her because she black. I believe her, first off. She says, after the shot happened, this white supremacist terrorist police officer, female, paced around for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, outside, crying. And then she called the police. White girl he had a beer with, this Alyssa Paredes, she said the police were called immediately. So she's already running her white supremacist terrorist dog whistles. His good old neighbor that's so casual to be talking to and so friendly to be up in her face on any given day, right? Just know, this woman was outside of her front door, outside of that apartment, crying for 10 minutes before she called the police. I believe the sister. Because anybody sitting up crying like that, how she was crying, those were tears of, I killed somebody I was fucking tears. I killed somebody I was wanting to fuck. Let's just put it out there. 10 minutes before you call the police, why not call the police immediately? So, that's my narrative on it, y'all. And Black Twitter, I just want to say, man, you know we be on it, boy. We'll solve a case in less than 24 hours, boy. We get all the damn receipts and then be looking at the police department like, so what else y'all motherfuckers got? What other lie y'all gonna try for the next month about this shit? Bitch, is how we be thinking. It be the current I be feeling. I think Friday, Saturday, Sundays, those are good days for me to drop. I've been trying to find a good day for me to drop, a good succession of days to drop. And those are just good days. It's crazy with me trying to run these different businesses that I'm fucking with. So Like I said, I don't got no job, dog. I hustle. Subscribe, and if you're on YouTube watching me, make sure you hit that bell so you can know when I'm dropping. But I'm gonna get it, y'all.